Today is November the 4th. What happens at the very end? Let's find out together as we read Joel chapter 3 from 17 to 21. So Joel finishes his book with a statement of what happens at the very end of everything. Starting in verse 17 of chapter 3, then you will know that I, the Lord your God, live in Zion, my holy mountain. Jerusalem will be holy forever. Foreign armies will never conquer her again. In that day the mountains will drip with sweet wine and the hills will flow with milk. Water will fill the stream beds of Judah and a fountain will burst forth from the Lord's temple, watering the arid valley of Acacias. But Egypt will soon become a wasteland and Edom will become a wilderness because they attacked the people of Judah and killed innocent people in their land. But Judah will be filled with people forever. Jerusalem will endure through all generations. I will pardon my people's crimes, which I have not yet pardoned, and I, the Lord, will make my home in Jerusalem with my people. There are a few things that we see here that God does. First of all, he simply states in verse 17, you will know that I am the Lord your God. The first thing God does is he is simply himself. He is God. The second thing that God does is he says, I dwell in Zion. He says that in verse 17, I dwell in Zion, and then he repeats it in verse 21. I, the Lord, will make my home in Jerusalem with my people. The third thing he does, verse 21, I will forgive. He is God. He lives among us, and he forgives. So what do we do? Well, in verse 17, then you will know. We look at what God does, and we get it. We know. The second thing, Judah will be inhabited. Now this is really interesting to me. He says in verse 20 that Judah will be filled with people forever. I looked up that verb, Judah will be filled, and I found that it occurs over 1,000 times in the Old Testament. 71 times it occurs in the book of Genesis. And typically it's translated by the word settled. So what's happening here? In Genesis chapter 1, God gives a command. He says to Adam and Eve, reign over the earth, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth. 71 more times in Genesis, it says they filled the earth. They settled in this region. They settled in that region. They expanded, took over that land. They obeyed the command to settle the earth, to fill the earth. At the very end of times, Judah will be filled forever. At the very end of times, God's purpose for mankind is accomplished. They are fruitful, they multiply, and they fill the earth. Today, spend some time thanking God, not only for what he has done, but for what he will do. both in your life, during your lifetime, and when the end comes. Like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast on whatever platform you used to listen to it. Tomorrow, we'll answer the question, what is the filling of this Spirit?